I have a confession to make. I'm Lee Camp, and I used to believe Rachel Maddow. I know, it's a stain on my record, it's terrible, but back in 2008 I used to think she did things called research and actually spoke truth. Around the time she started getting paid $30,000 an episode, $7 million a year, around that time she came down with this illness where you spew utter bullshit. So here's a clip from a few days ago of her lying straight to your faces.
Basically what we've now figured out is that Homeland Security knew, at least by June, that 21 states had been targeted by Russian hackers during the election.
21 states were targeted by the dastardly Russians! Say it ain't so! Okay, it ain't so. As Glenn Greenwald said in an Intercept article titled, "Yet Another Major Russia Story Falls Apart," he tells how basically none of the details Maddow is so indignant about are actually, true? Greenwald refers to Maddow as MSNBC's Paul Revere for all matters relating to the Kremlin takeover. But I think that's not quite accurate because the British were coming. Paul Revere was telling the truth. So more accurately, this would be like if Paul Revere were galloping through the streets going, "The yogurt is made of balloons! Do not eat the yogurt! It's made of balloons!" As Greenwald says, so what was wrong with this story? Just one small thing. It was false. The story began to fall apart yesterday when Associated Press reported that Wisconsin, one of the states included in the original report, did not in fact have its election systems targeted by Russian hackers.
It looks like these are the states that have made that information public today. We've posted this kind of in clip and save form. So when more states say publicly whether the Russians hit them too, we'll add to the list. But so far, we've got these.
Oh, she has a map of her fake news. You know, it's important to really lay the fake news out there up on a visual so people can see, oh, it's fake there, and oh, a little fake over there. Good to have it all laid out there. It's adorable. She's adorable. Here's more from The Intercept. The story collapsed completely last night. The Secretary of State for another one of the named states, California, issued a scathing statement repudiating the claimed report. You see, this is what happens when the Department of Homeland Security wants to put forward the idea that our election was stolen by Russia, but they don't actually have proof. But Rachel Maddow is more than happy to report this story to you as if it's true, to feed you this bullshit. Even though it could result in nuclear war down the line, who's counting? Who's counting nuclear wars, right? Also, this idea was used to allow the Department of Homeland Security to designate our election system critical infrastructure, which sounds all well and good, but it means down the road our elections will be fully under federal government control. So what Rachel Maddow's doing is called towing the government line. 100%. Taking what the Department of Homeland Security says without any questions and just spraying it out there, just feeding it to all the baby birds out there who take it for granted that this is the truth. Rachel Maddow is acting as a government mouthpiece, and she's getting paid $7 million a year to do it. But she tries to make it look like she's not a government mouthpiece by questioning the Department of Homeland Security's timing on this.
They've known at least since June which states were attacked? But sure, why not wait till mid-September? What the heck? How about a Friday afternoon? Probably an excellent time to submarine that news, especially by just letting it drib and drab out from individual states here and there, rather than making any sort of actual government announcement about this thing.
Yes, I will believe every word that the DHS feeds to me, but I will only question when they put it out there. Their punctuality. I want the propaganda on my desk right now. She is putting forward propaganda simply in the way she talks about this story. She says the Russians attacked the election systems of 21 states. But in fact, many of these states were initially told that their systems were scanned by Russian IP addresses. A, scanning is not hacking. B, a Russian IP address does not mean a Russian government hacker. C, none of the systems were breached. D, there are ways to fake an IP address. So don't you think a really impressive Russian hacker, which we're told these people are, would just fake an IP address from another country? For them to not do so would be like Banksy spray painting on a wall, standing in front of a security camera just like, And finally, our election system is a fraud to begin with. We're talking about a completely unaccountable, unverifiable fucking load of crap that we vote on. We vote on black boxes that are owned by corporations that decide what we're told, that don't match up with the exit polls, and it's a pile of shit. And you're worried about a Russian IP address scanned to some fucking database in Utah? Are you fucking kidding me? That's like a porn star being worried that she got mono from sharing a Coke with the key grip on the set. Look, our election was indeed rigged. It was rigged by the interstate cross-check software, purging the voter rolls, closing polling places, using provisional ballots, by machines that were proven to be counting incorrectly, by superdelegates, by gerrymandering, by the electoral system as a whole. This election was rigged along with the primaries 900 ways to Sunday. It's dirtier than Goldman Sachs bankers swimming through sewage trying to escape from Shawshank. Rachel, I'll believe you give a tip of a turd about our election system when you start demanding verifiable, accountable, open source, blockchain voting that cannot be hacked and can be viewed by everyone and matches the exit polls. Most countries, if the exit polls are off by more than 2%, it's called election fraud. Here, it's just business as usual. At that point, I will believe you care at all about our election system. Until you do that, please, 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 shut the fuck up. I'm Lee Camp, and I used to believe Rachel Maddow. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you wake up.